On November 8, 2016, after seemingly endless campaign coverage, millions of Americans will vote for those they want to see lead the country. It's time to take a break from the polarizing coverage of Clinton and Trump and to take a look at those who enable American democracy to work the way it does, the people.
On Election Day, the concept of what democracy is tangible. You can participate in it.
According to a recent Yale Daily News survey, a large majority of students here at Yale plan on participating in this process. Of the students surveyed, nearly 95% are registered to vote. But why is it that so many people find this process important?
I'm really excited to vote in this election because this election is especially high stakes, I think. It's going to be a lot of college students' first presidential election.
If you don't vote, you don't have a voice. And there are so many people throughout the history of our country who sacrificed so people would have the right to vote.
The most clear and central reason for voting is to elect good leaders and to elect leaders whose policies represent your interests. But it's also beyond that to make your voice heard and to make sure that politicians know that you are going to exercise your political rights to defend your interests.
I think we should do whatever we can as a government to make it as easy as possible to vote.
It's about the process and sort of celebrating democracy and empowerment of the individual.
Although the majority of Yale students plan on voting, overall political engagement on campus seems to be lacking, especially with regard to local politics. Well under 5% of students feel very engaged in the Connecticut elections.
You might be surprised in terms of what really are contentious races and what aren't. Because the presidential level gets all the attention.
And a lot of the policymaking that happens at the state and local level, and it's those policies that really, the people really feel the impact of those policies on their lives.
We're complaining all about the gridlock in Washington, but the states that have state legislatures that are all blue or all red are moving through with their agenda.
You don't just vote for the top of the ticket.
There are 33 major ballot measures all around the country regarding things like marijuana, death penalty, clean elections, what have you, that are all being considered by the people in this election. And those are things, again, that are not gaining public attention.
A few votes can really make a difference in those state or local level races.
Although a great deal of excitement surrounds this election, it is also accompanied by deep frustration. In fact, nearly 40% of Yale students are frustrated by their party's choice of candidate. This frustration is particularly evident in the Republican Party. Under 70% of Yale Republicans plan on voting in this election. And of those voting, a greater percentage plan on casting their ballot for Hillary Clinton, the nominee of the opposing party, rather than Donald Trump. But we are reminded that there are some positives that come out of this largely negative election cycle.
If you look at, let's say, how Washington works, people, it's easy to get cynical. Say, well, there's not campaign finance reform, special interests have a big role, my vote doesn't matter. Right? So it's that creates apathy.
Something that tests your democracy or challenges your democracy, even in a way that you weren't anticipating or welcoming. Ultimately, I think it reaffirms the commitment of people to the process and to the system of government.
And one positive is the passion and engagement of young people. And the Sanders campaign certainly had a big role in that.
I think a lot of the time the narrative that you hear is millennials don't care about anything, their generation, why bother? So I think that this election cycle has sort of been a good counter narrative to that.
It's okay, in fact, it's a good thing to be skeptical about what elected officials say, right? What the media says, but don't be cynical.
You should be extremely excited for this opportunity. It's only every 4 years that you have a presidential election. And it's only for 4 years that you are on a college campus as an undergraduate.
Yeah, so I think that the most important thing is obviously to get out and vote, whether it's here in Connecticut or voting absentee in your home state.
This is a time to make your voices heard as young people who have traditionally been underrepresented in the political process.